Good afternoon. I'd like to thank you for asking me to come speak here today. I really don't have a whole lot to say to you. I thought about what I was going to say, and I've been kind of looking at my life. I've been a lifelong resident of Washington, Missouri. I lived in Ward 3 since 1965. I've lived at 3 different locations in Ward 3, all pretty much same, within a couple blocks of each other. I've been married to my wife Deborah here for 34 years. She's also a local girl. Her father Randy in the auto was a business down in downtown Washington for several years. We have 2 children. My son is 31. He works in Clayton as a certified financial analyst. And my daughter, oddly enough, works just a couple blocks from him, also in Clayton. She's a kind of a different person. She's a biomedical engineer. She works at SLU, and she works as a patent attorney in Clayton. I'm very proud of both of those. I feel very fortunate to have them. I hope that someday that they can move back to Washington. I doubt if they ever will, but I wish someday they could move back. The way Washington is growing, right now I think that we are using good sense in planning. I've been on the Planning and Zoning Commission since 2001, and we try to interlock all the subdivisions where there's not one way into these subdivisions and one way out. We try to have interlocking streets. I think we've used good judgment in what we have allowed and what we haven't allowed. And I think we've been successful in stopping something outside of the city of Washington, off of Pottery Road there, where they were trying to put in that subdivision where they were just going to outpace or overuse or put that road under so much stress that it's in the county. The city could only voice opposition against it. We couldn't really stop it. I'm for this widening of Highway 100. I think we use good sense in raising a tax that pays for that through sales tax instead of using other revenue that the city had. I think the city has used a lot of common sense in their management of what has been allowed in the past. I don't really have an agenda. I'm not running because I'm mad at somebody. I don't have any personal goals or any personal gains out of this. I think I would be a good representative for Ward 3, and I would appreciate your vote if you live in Ward 3. I am self-employed. I run a small business out of my garage. I refinish furniture and build furniture for people. I've worked for United Parcel for 30 years. I recently retired. I just couldn't do that job anymore. It was just too hard on my body. I had 2 artificial knees put in 06. I just had one replaced 3 weeks ago. It wasn't a good plan on my part to sign up to run for office on a Tuesday and on that Friday go ahead and have your knee replaced. I hope as a councilman I use better planning than that. So that's really all I have to say. I think most of you people probably know me already. If you've lived in Washington, I've did a lot of volunteer work. I'm active in my parish at St. Francis Borgia. I worked at the fair for several years. Was also a Cub Scout. Not a leader, but I worked. My wife was a den mother. I worked with the Cub Scouts and their craft projects. Volunteered with Athletic Association. Was a Little League football coach for several years. Referee for several years. Coached Little League baseball. Pretty much a full gamut of volunteerism. Although I've never been on the fair board. I mean, those people are a different breed. I really have to commend them for all they do. I mean, that is a lifestyle. That is a real commitment. And I praise those people for doing that, Chairman. I want to thank you again for your time.